Far beyond the edge of known space, past the last bright star that humans had ever mapped, there was a small colony called Haven Station. It was not a big place. It was a mining outpost built on a cold gray moon that circled a dead planet. Only 3,000 people lived there. They worked hard every day, pulling metal and fuel from the rocks and sending it back to Earth once every few months. Haven Station was far from everything. It took almost a month for a message to travel from Haven to Earth, even at the fastest speed. Because of this, the people who lived there always felt alone, but they were not afraid. For 20 years, nothing bad had ever happened. The colony had grown, house by house, tunnel by tunnel, until it became a small but proud human home in the dark. That peace ended on a quiet morning. Dr. Elena Cross was the leader of Haven Station. She was 50 years old, with short gray hair and tired eyes that had seen many long nights of work. She was checking the morning reports in her office when the alarm began to scream. At first, she thought it was a small problem, maybe a broken machine or a meteor too close to the shield. But when she looked at the screen, her hands went cold. Ships, many ships, coming out of hidden space right at the edge of the system. "Report," she said, her voice shaking just a little. A young officer named Sam answered from across the room, his eyes wide with fear. "Ma'am, I count 12 ships. No, wait, 15. They are not ours. Sensors say they are alien." The room went silent. Everyone stopped moving. For a moment, no one breathed. Elena walked slowly to the window. Outside, the stars were still and quiet like nothing was wrong. But she knew that somewhere out there in the black emptiness, death was coming closer every second. "Get me a visual," she said. The screen changed, and there they were. 15 alien warships shaped like sharp black blades moved through space in a perfect line. They were 3 times the size of anything Haven Station had ever built. Blue light glowed from their engines, cutting through the dark like cold fire. "Oh God," someone whispered. Elena's heart pounded, but she forced herself to stay calm. She had trained for emergencies. She had trained for accidents, for fires, for broken machines. But nothing had ever trained her for this. "Send a message to Earth Command," she said. "Tell them we are under threat. Tell them we need help, now." Sam's fingers moved fast across the controls. "Message sent, ma'am, but it will take 26 days to reach Earth. And even if they answer right away..." He did not finish the sentence. He did not need to. Everyone in the room understood help was too far away. Whatever was coming, they would have to face it alone. The alien fleet did not attack right away. Instead, it stopped just outside the edge of Haven Station's small defense zone. For almost an hour, nothing happened. The ships just floated there, watching like predators looking at a small animal before the hunt. Then, one ship moved forward. It was bigger than the rest, its black hull covered in strange glowing marks. It stopped very close to the station's main sensor range, and a signal came through. "They are hailing us," Sam said, his voice tight. Elena took a breath, put it through. The screen flickered and an image appeared. It showed a creature unlike anything the humans had ever seen. It had gray-purple skin, no visible eyes, but instead many small dark sensors across its face. Its voice, when it came, was low and cold, translated by the station's computer into rough English. "Human colony. You are small. You are weak. You have no defense fleet. You have no warships. Surrender your station, your resources, and your people, or you will be destroyed." The room fell silent again. Elena stepped closer to the screen, trying to keep her voice steady. "This is Dr. Elena Cross, leader of Haven Station. We are a peaceful mining colony. We have no weapons, no threat to you. Please, there is no reason for violence." The alien sensors blinked slowly, almost like it was studying her. "Peaceful means nothing. Weak means everything. You have 1 hour to answer. After that, we will take what we want." The signal cut off. For a long moment, nobody spoke. Then Sam, still staring at the black screen, said quietly, "1 hour." Elena closed her eyes. 1 hour to decide the fate of 3,000 people. 1 hour and no army, no ship, nothing to protect them. News spread through the station fast. Fear moved from room to room like a cold wind. Families gathered together, holding each other, not knowing what would happen next. Some workers ran to the small emergency shelters, though everyone knew those shelters could do nothing against warships like the ones outside. In the control room, Elena called together her small team. There was Sam, the young officer, Marcus, the chief engineer, a big man with strong hands and a worried face, and Dr. Naomi Reyes, the station's only doctor, who had already started preparing the medical bay for the worst. What options do we have? Elena asked, though she already knew the answer. Marcus shook his head. Ma'am, our shields can maybe stop small debris. Maybe against warships like that. They'll cut through us in seconds. We have no weapons. Not even one gun. Can we run? Sam asked. Evacuate people to the transport ships. Naomi answered before anyone else could. We only have 4 transport ships. Each one holds 200 people. We have 3,000. There's no way we can save everyone in time. The room went quiet again. Elena looked at each of their faces, tired, scared, but still trying to find a way. She felt the weight of every single person on the station resting on her shoulders. Then we send everyone we can, she said finally. Children first, then families. We load the transports and we buy them as much time as possible. And the rest of us? Marcus asked quietly. Elena did not answer right away. She looked out at the black ships on the screen, waiting like hungry wolves. The rest of us stay, she said, and we hope. The next 30 minutes were filled with chaos. Alarms rang through every hallway. People ran, carrying children, carrying bags, carrying whatever they could grab in seconds. Parents cried as they pushed their kids toward the transport ships, promising they would follow soon, even though many of them knew it might be a lie. Sam worked at his station, trying everything he could think of. He searched old records hoping for some forgotten defense system, some hidden weapon left behind by the station's builders. But there was nothing. Haven Station had never been built for war. It had been built for peace, for work, for a quiet life far from Earth's problems. Marcus ran through the engine room, trying to push more power into the shields, knowing it would not be nearly enough. Sweat covered his face as he worked, his hands moving fast over old machines that were never meant for this kind of pressure. Naomi stood at the loading dock, helping families onto the transport ships, comforting crying children, holding the hands of the elderly who moved too slowly. Her calm voice was the only steady thing in the middle of the panic, and Elena stood in the control room watching the clock. Watching the black ships. Waiting for the hour to end, 40 minutes passed. Then 50. Transport 1 is full and launching, Sam reported, his voice tight with stress. Transport 2 loading now. Elena nodded, though her eyes never left the screen. The alien fleet had not moved. They were simply waiting like a predator that knew its prey could not escape. 55 minutes. Transport 2 launched, Sam said. Transport 3 is at half capacity, still loading. Elena's hands gripped the edge of her chair. Come on, she thought. Just a little more time. 58 minutes. Suddenly, the alien commander's voice returned through the speakers, cold and emotionless. Time is ending, human colony. Your answer. Elena stood tall, even though her heart was pounding so hard she thought it might break through her chest. We need more time. We have people still. No more time, the voice interrupted. Prepare for boarding. Resist and you will be destroyed. The signal cut off again. On the screen, the black ships began to move. Slowly, like predators finally deciding to strike, they turned toward Haven Station, their engines glowing brighter. They're moving in, Sam shouted. Weapons charging on 3 of their ships. Elena's mind raced. There was nothing left to do. No weapons, no army. No help coming from Earth for 26 more days. Only a small station full of scared people and empty hands. She thought of the children on the transport ships, the families still waiting to escape, the people who had trusted her to keep them safe. And she realized, with a terrible, heavy feeling, that she might not be able to save them. Brace for impact, she said quietly, her voice barely steady. Everyone, brace for impact. The room grew tense. Sam's hands trembled over the controls. Marcus's voice came through the comm, shouting something about shield power, but Elena barely heard him. Her eyes were locked on the alien ships now moving fast toward the station, weapons glowing with deadly light. This is it, she thought. This is how it ends. But then something strange happened. One of the alien ships suddenly stopped. Then another. Their weapons, which had been glowing bright and ready to fire, dimmed. The whole fleet, which had been moving forward with deadly purpose, froze in place. What's happening? Elena asked, confused. Sam, report. Sam's fingers moved fast over his controls, his eyes wide with shock. Ma'am, I'm reading something. Something big. It's coming from behind the alien fleet, from the empty space near the outer system. What is it? Elena demanded. Another alien fleet? No, Sam said slowly, his voice filled with disbelief. The signal, the energy signature, it doesn't match anything alien. It's human. But it's not any human ship I've ever seen in the records. It's massive. Bigger than anything we have. Bigger than anything Earth has ever built, as far as I know. Elena's breath caught in her throat. Human, that's impossible. We have no fleet out here. Earth is 26 days away. I know, ma'am, Sam said, staring at his screen like he couldn't believe what he was seeing. But it's real. Something is rising out of the void, and it's heading straight for the alien fleet. On the main screen, everyone in the control room watched as space itself seemed to bend and shimmer right behind the enemy ships. A dark shape began to appear slowly, like a giant waking from a long sleep. It was massive, far bigger than the alien warships, its hull dark and smooth, covered in lights that glowed like distant stars. The alien fleet, which just moments ago had been ready to destroy Haven Station without mercy, suddenly turned all of its sensors toward this new, unknown threat. Confusion and fear spread through their formation. Ships that had been moving forward now hesitated, engines flickering as their commanders tried to understand what they were seeing. Elena stood frozen, staring at the screen, her heart pounding with a strange mix of fear and hope. "Sam," she whispered, Is that really a warship?" Sam nodded slowly, still staring at his readings in disbelief. "Yes, ma'am. And whatever it is, the aliens are terrified of it." The massive shape continued to rise from the darkness, its lights growing brighter, its presence filling the space where, just moments before, there had been nothing but empty void. The alien fleet, so confident just minutes ago, now looked small and unsure, like hunters who had suddenly become the hunted. No one on Haven Station knew what this new ship was. No one knew where it came from or why it had appeared at exactly this moment when all hope seemed lost. But one thing was clear. Something powerful had just entered the battle. And nothing, not the aliens, not the humans on Haven Station, and not even Elena herself was ready for what would happen next. The war for Haven Station was about to change forever. For a long moment, nobody on Haven Station moved. Nobody spoke. Every eye in the control room stayed locked on the main screen, watching the strange dark shape rise out of the empty void behind the alien fleet. Elena's mouth was dry. She had lived through fear before, but this was different. This was fear mixed with something else, something she had not felt in a long time. "Hope. Sam," she said quietly. "Give me everything you have on that ship. Size, shape, energy output, anything." Sam's hands moved fast, but his voice shook as he read the numbers coming through. "Ma'am, this doesn't make sense. The ship it's over 4 kilometers long. That's bigger than any warship in Earth's official records. Its energy output is off the charts. I've never seen numbers like this." 4 kilometers, Marcus repeated through the comm channel, disbelief clear in his voice. "That's not a warship. That's a small moon with engines." Elena stared at the screen. The massive ship continued to rise, its dark hull catching faint light from the distant sun, its surface covered in patterns of glowing blue lines that pulsed slowly, like a giant heartbeat. "Is it broadcasting anything?" she asked. "Any signal, any identification?" Sam shook his head. "Nothing, ma'am. It's silent. Completely silent. No communication attempts, no response to our scans. It's just there." On the alien flagship, the mood had changed completely. Commander Threx, the alien leader who had spoken to Elena just minutes before, stood frozen at his command station, his sensor-covered face turned toward the new threat. Around him, his officers moved in fast, nervous motions, trying to understand what they were seeing. The fleet's scanners, some of the most advanced in known space, could not identify the strange ship's origin, its weapons, or even its exact purpose. "Report," Threx demanded, his voice sharp with tension. A young officer, his hands trembling slightly, answered quickly. "Commander, the ship's power signature is unlike anything in our database. It matches no known human design, past or present. It is almost as if it does not belong to this time." Threx's sensors flickered, a sign of deep unease among his kind. "Explain." "Our scans show technology patterns older than anything we have on record for human ships," the officer continued. "But the power output, the size, these numbers are far beyond what the humans should be capable of building even now." Another officer, older and more experienced, stepped forward. His voice was low, almost fearful. "Commander, there are old stories. Legends passed down through many campaigns against different species. Stories of a lost human fleet. A group of ships built long ago during a time of great danger, then hidden away and forgotten. Some called them ghost ships. Most believed they were only myths. Threx turned his sensors toward the officer, his body tense. "You believe this is one of those ships?" "I do not know, Commander," the officer admitted. "But I have never seen a power signature like this before. Whatever it is not something a small mining colony's command fleet, or even Earth's regular fleet, would send out here to a corner of space this remote." Threx stared back at the screen, at the massive shape that had gone completely still, floating silently behind his fleet like a patient predator. For the first time since he had approached Haven Station, Commander Threx felt something he was not used to feeling. Fear. Back on Haven Station, Naomi rushed into the control room, her face pale. "Elena, what's happening?" "The transport pilots are saying something huge just appeared behind the alien fleet." "We don't know yet," Elena answered, not taking her eyes off the screen. "But whatever it is, the aliens are afraid of it too." Naomi walked closer, staring at the massive dark shape on the display. "Is it here to help us? Or is it another threat?" Nobody had an answer. The silence stretched on. The alien fleet remained frozen, unsure whether to attack the strange newcomer or retreat back toward Haven Station and finish what they started. The unknown warship simply floated there, its blue lights pulsing slowly, giving away nothing about its intentions. Then, without warning, the warship moved. It was not fast, not aggressive. It moved with a slow, confident grace, like something that had no fear of anything around it. It drifted forward, positioning itself directly between the alien fleet and Haven Station, as if drawing a line that the aliens were forbidden to cross. "It's blocking them," Sam said, amazed. "It's putting itself right between the aliens and us." Elena felt a small spark of hope rise in her chest, but she forced herself to stay cautious. "Keep watching. We don't know what it wants yet." On the alien flagship, Threx watched the massive ship take its new position with growing unease. His scanners tried again and again to read its weapon systems, but each attempt returned the same result. "Unknown. Open a channel," Threx ordered. "Human ship. Identify yourself." There was no response. "Try again," Threx said, his voice sharper now, laced with impatience and fear. Still, nothing. The massive warship remained silent, its lights pulsing steadily, its position unmoving. One of the younger officers, unable to hide his nervousness, spoke up. "Commander, should we retreat?" "If this ship is as powerful as our scans suggest, we are not retreating from an unidentified vessel," Threx snapped, though his own confidence was clearly shaken. "We have 15 warships. Whatever this human ship is, it is only one." But even as he said the words, something inside him doubted them. Threx turned to his weapons officer. "Target the unknown ship. Fire a warning shot. Let us see how it reacts." The officer hesitated for just a moment before following the order. One of the alien ships aimed its weapon and fired a bright energy blast toward the massive warship, aiming just off to the side. A clear warning, not meant to cause real damage. The blast flew through space and struck against something invisible just in front of the warship's hull. A shimmer of light spread outward like ripples on water, and the energy blast disappeared completely, absorbed without leaving a single mark. The control room on Haven Station went dead silent. Did that shot just vanish?" Sam asked, stunned. "Shields," Marcus said through the comm, his voice full of disbelief. "That ship has shields strong enough to completely absorb a warning shot without even flickering. I've never seen anything like it." On the alien flagship, the mood turned from unease to real fear. Officers exchanged nervous glances. Some began quietly suggesting retreat, their voices low but urgent. Threx stared at the screen, his sensors flickering rapidly, a clear sign of the fear now running through him. He had commanded battles across many systems. He had destroyed colonies far larger and better defended than Haven Station. But he had never seen a ship absorb a direct hit without even a visible reaction. "Status on the unknown ship," he demanded. "No change, Commander," the sensor officer reported, his voice shaking. "It hasn't moved. Its shields remain steady. It's just watching us." For several long minutes nothing happened. The massive warship stayed in its position, silent and still, its presence alone enough to keep the entire alien fleet frozen in place. Threx paced back and forth on his command deck, his mind racing, trying to decide what to do next. Attack and risk losing his entire fleet to an unknown enemy? Retreat and admit defeat to a colony he had promised to destroy? Neither option felt right, but every second he waited, the fear among his crew grew stronger. Finally, he made a decision. All ships, Threx commanded, his voice steady despite the fear inside him. Full weapons power. Target the unknown vessel. On my signal, fire everything we have. The alien officers exchanged uncertain looks, but they obeyed. Slowly, the 15 warships began charging their main weapons, red and orange lights building along their hulls, preparing for a massive combined attack. On Haven Station, Elena watched the buildup with growing dread. They're preparing to fire everything at once, she said. Sam, can that ship survive an attack like that? Sam shook his head slowly. I don't know, ma'am. Nobody's ever seen shields like this before. We have no idea what its limits are. The tension in the control room was unbearable. Everyone stared at the screen, waiting, holding their breath, watching the alien fleet's weapons grow brighter and brighter as they prepared to unleash everything they had on the mysterious warship. Then, just as Threx opened his mouth to give the final order to fire, the unknown warship moved. It did not retreat. It did not try to escape the incoming attack. Instead, it simply turned slowly and calmly, so that its full length now faced the alien fleet directly. And along its massive hull, dozens of small lights began to glow brighter and brighter, like the ship itself was waking up fully for the first time. Ma'am, Sam said, his voice trembling, I'm reading massive weapons charge from the unknown ship. It's preparing to fire back. Elena's heart pounded in her chest. This was the moment. Whatever this ship truly was, whoever or whatever controlled it. Its intentions were about to become clear. On the alien flagship, Threx froze, staring at the massive warship as its weapons came fully online. For the first time, he understood with terrible clarity that he might have made a very big mistake. Belay that order, he shouted suddenly. All ships hold. But it was too late. A brilliant streak of blue-white light shot out from the unknown warship, moving faster than anything the alien sensors could track. It struck one of the alien warships directly, and in a single silent flash, the ship simply ceased to exist. No explosion, no debris, just gone, as if it had never been there at all. The remaining alien ships scattered in panic, their formation breaking apart completely. Screams and shouted orders filled the alien command channels as the fleet, which just an hour ago had been ready to destroy a helpless colony without mercy, now found itself facing something far more powerful than anything they had ever encountered. On Haven Station, the entire control room erupted into stunned silence, followed by disbelief. It destroyed one of their ships instantly, Sam whispered. One hit. Elena stared at the screen, watching the alien fleet break into chaos, watching the massive warship begin to move forward with slow, unstoppable purpose. Fear and hope mixed together inside her, a feeling she could not fully understand. Whatever that ship is, she said quietly, it just became our only hope. Marcus's voice came through the comm, filled with a strange mix of awe and disbelief. Elena, I don't know what that thing is, but I don't think those aliens are going to survive this fight. On the main screen, the massive warship continued its slow advance, its lights blazing brighter with every passing second, while the alien fleet scrambled desperately to find a way to escape the impossible power that had just risen from the void. The battle for Haven Station had only just begun. The alien fleet broke apart in total chaos. Ships that had once moved in a perfect, deadly formation now scattered in every direction, their commanders screaming orders that nobody could follow fast enough. One moment, they had been ready to destroy a helpless mining colony. The next, they were fighting for their own survival against an enemy they did not understand. On the alien flagship, Commander Threx gripped the edge of his command station, his sensors flashing rapidly with fear he could no longer hide. Status report now. 2 ships destroyed, an officer shouted, panic clear in his voice. The unknown vessel moves faster than our tracking systems can follow. We cannot predict its next attack. Threx watched in horror as on the main screen, the massive warship moved through his fleet like a blade through soft cloth. It did not rush. It did not panic. Every movement was calm, precise, almost effortless, as if the battle was nothing more than routine work. Another bright flash lit up the darkness of space. A third alien ship vanished in an instant, destroyed by a single perfectly placed shot. Fall back, Threx shouted. All ships break formation and retreat to minimum safe distance. But retreat was not easy. The warship had already positioned itself in a way that blocked several of the alien ship's escape paths. Wherever the aliens tried to move, the massive vessel seemed to already know, cutting off their routes with terrifying accuracy. On Haven Station, the control room was filled with tense silence broken only by Sam's fast, nervous updates. "Fourth ship down," he said, staring at his screen in disbelief. It's not even trying hard. It's like it's toying with them." Elena stood frozen, watching the battle unfold on the main display. Streaks of blue-white light flashed across space again and again, each one finding its target with impossible precision. The alien fleet, once so confident and threatening, was now nothing more than prey trying desperately to survive. "Whatever's flying that ship," Marcus said through the comm, his voice filled with awe. "They know exactly what they're doing." Naomi stood beside Elena, her eyes wide as she watched the destruction unfold. "Do you think there are people on that ship? Human people?" Elena did not answer right away. She had no way of knowing. The warship had not responded to any communication attempt. It had not identified itself. It had simply appeared, blocked the enemy, and began fighting with terrifying skill. "I don't know," she finally said. "But whoever, or whatever, is controlling it, they're saving us." Back on the alien flagship, the situation grew worse by the second. Threx's officers worked desperately, trying to find any weakness in the unknown warship's defenses, but every scan returned the same frustrating result. Nothing. No visible weak points. No pattern in its attacks that could be predicted. Just calm, deadly efficiency. "Commander," the sensor officer said, his voice shaking, "the enemy vessel has still not used more than a fraction of its main weapon systems. Based on the size of its power core, it is possible this is not even attacking at full strength." Threx's sensors flickered rapidly, a clear sign of deep fear. "You are saying it is holding back?" "I believe so, Commander," the officer answered quietly. "It is almost as if it wants to make sure we understand exactly how outmatched we are." The words hung heavy in the air. Around the command deck, alien officers exchanged terrified glances. This was not how war was supposed to feel. They were used to being the stronger side, the ones who struck fear into their enemies. Now, for the first time in many years, they understood exactly how their victims must have felt. A fifth explosion lit up the screen. "Another ship gone. Options, Commander?" one officer asked desperately. "What are your orders?" Threx stared at the chaos unfolding before him. His fleet, once 15 strong, was now down to 10 ships, and that number was shrinking fast. He had two choices: continue fighting a battle he could not win, or attempt a full retreat and hope enough ships survive to escape. "All remaining ships," he said finally, his voice tight with barely controlled fear. "Focus fire on the enemy vessel. All weapons, all power. We end this now, together, or we die trying." The order was given, and the surviving alien ships turned their weapons toward the massive warship, firing everything they had in one final, desperate attempt to bring it down. Streaks of red and orange energy filled the space around Haven Station, converging on the dark hull of the unknown vessel. On Haven Station, the control room watched in stunned silence as the warship became surrounded by explosions of light, disappearing for a moment behind a wall of enemy fire. "No," Sam shouted, gripping his console tightly. "It's taking hits from all sides." Elena's heart clenched with fear. Had they lost their only hope so soon? But then, as the smoke and light cleared, the warship emerged, completely unharmed. Its shields, glowing faintly blue, absorbed every single blast without a single crack or weakness showing. "Shield still at full strength," Marcus reported, disbelief clear in his voice. "That combined attack should have at least weakened something. It's like it didn't even feel it." The alien fleet, having used everything they had in that single desperate attack, now had nothing left to defend themselves. And the massive warship, completely unharmed, began to move again, and faster this time, more decisive, as if it had finally decided to end the battle completely. On the alien flagship, panic spread through the crew like wildfire. Threx watched, helpless, as the unknown warship moved through his remaining ships with terrifying speed and precision. One by one, the alien vessels were destroyed or disabled, their weapons useless against the impossible shields protecting their enemy. "Commander, only 4 ships remain," an officer shouted. "We must retreat now, or none of us will survive." Threx's mind raced. Retreat meant admitting complete defeat. It meant returning to his superiors with almost nothing left of his fleet, having failed to destroy even a single small mining colony. But staying meant certain death. "All remaining ships," he said, his voice barely steady. Emergency retreat. Full power to engines. Leave this system immediately. The order was given and the 4 surviving alien ships turned, engines flaring bright as they attempted to flee. But the massive warship was already moving to intercept, cutting off their escape routes with the same calm precision it had shown throughout the entire battle. "They're trying to run," Sam reported from Haven Station's control room. "The warship is chasing them down." Elena watched, her emotions a mixture of relief and something close to fear. The power on display was incredible, almost impossible to believe. Whatever this warship truly was, it had turned a hopeless situation into a one-sided battle in a matter of minutes. One more flash of light. Another alien ship destroyed. Then another. Within moments, only Threx's flagship remained, badly damaged, its engines struggling to maintain enough power for escape. The massive warship slowed its approach, positioning itself directly in front of the fleeing alien vessel, blocking its path completely. On the alien flagship, silence fell over the command deck. Threx stared at the screen, watching the massive warship block his only escape route. His crew looked to him, waiting for orders, but for the first time since he had taken command, he had none to give. "Commander," the young officer said quietly. "What do we do?" Threx did not answer immediately. He stared at the dark, powerful vessel before him, its blue lights pulsing steadily, patient and unstoppable. He thought of all the colonies his fleet had destroyed over the years, all the battles they had won without mercy. And now, faced with a single ship, all of that power meant nothing. "Open a channel," he said finally, his voice heavy with defeat. "To the unknown vessel." The channel opened, but there was no response. No voice, no image, nothing, just silence, broken only by the steady pulse of the warship's lights. "Please," Threx said, his pride crumbling under the weight of fear. "We surrender. We will leave this system and never return. Just let my remaining crew live." For a long moment there was no answer. The massive warship remained still, blocking the alien flagship's path, giving no sign of what it intended to do next. Then finally, something happened. A single word came through the channel, spoken in a deep, calm voice that carried a strange weight of authority. It was the first time the warship had communicated with anyone since it had appeared. "Leave." That was all. One word filled with quiet, absolute power. Threx did not hesitate. "All power to engines," he shouted. "Get us out of here now." The alien flagship, badly damaged but still functional, turned and fled, its engines pushing it away from Haven Station as fast as it could manage. The massive warship did not follow. It simply watched, silent and still, as the last remaining enemy ship disappeared into the darkness of space. On Haven Station, the control room erupted into stunned, disbelieving celebration. People hugged each other, some crying with relief, others laughing in shock at what they had just witnessed. Elena stood in the middle of it all, staring at the screen, watching the massive warship remain in its position, silently guarding the station. We're alive," Naomi said, tears in her eyes. "We actually survived." Sam sat back in his chair, exhausted from the tension of the battle, shaking his head in disbelief. "I've never seen anything like that. 15 warships gone in less than 20 minutes. Marcus's voice came through the comm, filled with awe. "Elena, that ship? It just saved every single one of us. And it didn't even look like it was trying hard." Elena nodded slowly, still staring at the massive dark shape on the screen. Relief flooded through her, but so did a deep sense of curiosity and wonder. Who or what had built this incredible warship? Where had it come from? And why had it appeared at exactly the right moment to save them? As if answering her unspoken questions, the warship began to move once more. Slowly, calmly, it turned and approached Haven Station directly, its massive form casting a long shadow over the small colony. "Ma'am," Sam said, his voice cautious, "it's coming toward us." Elena took a deep breath, steadying herself. Whatever this mysterious vessel was, it had just saved thousands of lives. But its true purpose, its true identity remained a complete mystery. "Everyone stay calm," she said, though her own heart was pounding. "Let's find out exactly what, or who, just saved our lives." As the massive warship drew closer, its lights glowing steadily against the darkness of space, Elena felt a strange mixture of hope and fear rise within her. The battle was over, but the greatest mystery of all, the true identity of their unexpected savior, was only just beginning to unfold. The massive warship moved closer to Haven Station, its dark hull blocking out the stars behind it. Every person in the control room stood still, watching the screen, waiting to see what would happen next. After the terror of the last hour, and the shock of watching an unknown power destroy an entire alien fleet, nobody knew what to expect. Elena stood at the front of the room, her hands clasped tightly together to stop them from shaking. "Sam, any communication attempts?" "Nothing yet, ma'am," Sam answered, watching his screen closely. "It's just approaching slowly, like it's being careful not to scare us." The warship stopped a safe distance from the station, close enough to see clearly, but far enough not to threaten the smaller structure. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then the comm system crackled softly and a voice came through. Calm, steady, and clearly human. "Haven Station, this is Captain Elias Vance of the vessel Ironclad Dawn. Do you copy?" The room fell into stunned silence. A human voice. A human name. Elena felt her breath catch in her throat. "This is Dr. Elena Cross," she answered quickly, her voice trembling with relief. "We copy you, Captain." "Thank you. Thank you for saving us." There was a brief pause before the voice returned, warm but tired. "You're safe now, Doctor. The alien fleet has retreated. My ship destroyed 11 of their vessels and the rest fled. They won't be coming back anytime soon." Cheers erupted through the control room. People hugged each other, tears streaming down their faces, relief flooding through the station like a warm wave after so much fear. Elena allowed herself a small, exhausted smile, but her mind was still racing with questions. "Captain Vance," she said carefully, "may I ask, where did you come from? We have no record of any ship like yours. Nothing this powerful. Nothing this size." There was a long pause before Vance answered. "That's a fair question, Doctor. And I think it's time your station learned the truth." An hour later, a small shuttle from the Ironclad Dawn arrived at Haven Station's docking bay. The entire colony had gathered, curious and excited to see the people who had saved them. When the shuttle doors opened, a tall man stepped out. Dressed in a dark gray uniform that looked both military and strangely old-fashioned, with a design nobody in the room recognized, Captain Elias Vance was in his early 40s, with short black hair beginning to gray at the sides, sharp brown eyes, and the calm, steady presence of someone who had spent many years in difficult situations. Behind him walked 2 other crew members, both dressed in similar uniforms, quiet and watchful. Elena stepped forward to greet him. "Captain Vance, thank you. There aren't enough words to express how grateful we are." Vance nodded respectfully. "Just doing what needed to be done, Doctor. I'm glad we arrived in time." "Please," Elena said, gesturing toward the station's main meeting hall. "I think we all have a lot of questions, and I imagine you have quite a story to tell." In the meeting hall, with Haven Station's leadership team and several curious colonists gathered around, Captain Vance began to explain. "The Ironclad Dawn isn't a ship most people know about," he said. "It was built almost 80 years ago, during a period Earth doesn't talk about much anymore. A time when humanity first made contact with hostile alien species, long before most colonies like yours were even established." Marcus leaned forward, fascinated. 80 years? That ship should be ancient by now, but it looked brand new." Vance gave a small, knowing smile. "The Ironclad Dawn was part of a secret defense program called Project Sentinel. Back then, Earth's leaders feared that humanity might face threats far beyond what our early fleets could handle. So a small group of scientists and engineers built a handful of advanced warships, each one designed to be far stronger than anything else in existence at the time. Ships that could defend Earth or her colonies no matter the danger. But why haven't we heard about this before?" Sam asked, confused. "If these ships were so powerful, why keep them secret?" Vance's expression grew more serious. "Because early tests of the project caused problems. The technology used to build ships like mine was incredibly advanced, some of it based on ideas that were only partly understood at the time. There were accidents. Lives were lost during development. Eventually, Earth's government decided the risk was too great, and the program was shut down. Most of the ships were decommissioned, sealed away, and forgotten. Only a few, like the Ironclad Dawn, were kept in hidden reserve just in case they were ever truly needed." Naomi frowned. "So you've just been waiting all this time?" "In a way," Vance admitted. "My ship, along with a small crew, has been kept in long-term standby, hidden in deep space, ready to respond if a serious threat ever appeared. We monitor certain communication channels, watching for signs of danger to human colonies far from Earth's main defense range." Elena's eyes widened with realization. Our distress signal. You picked it up. Vance nodded. We did. It took time to reach your location. Even with our ship's speed. We arrived as fast as we could, but it was close. Too close. The room was silent for a moment as everyone processed this information. A secret fleet built decades ago and hidden away, only now revealing itself because of Haven Station's desperate call for help. Captain, Elena said slowly. Are there other ships like yours? Vance hesitated before answering. There were originally 5 ships built under Project Sentinel. As far as I know, 3 remain active today, hidden in different parts of known space, each with a small crew ready to respond if needed. The other 2 were lost during testing many years ago. And Earth's government, Marcus asked, do they know you're still out here? Only a very small number of high-ranking officials know the full truth about Project Sentinel, Vance explained. It's kept quiet, partly because of the accidents in the past and partly because Earth doesn't want other species to know just how much power humanity truly holds in reserve. We're meant to be humanity's last line of defense, a secret only revealed when absolutely necessary. Elena thought about this for a long moment. It was overwhelming to learn that all this time, hidden in the darkness of space, powerful ships like the ironclad Dawn had existed, quietly protecting colonies that never even knew they were being watched over. Well, she finally said, a small smile forming on her tired face. I'm very glad your ship decided today was necessary. Vance returned the smile. So am I, Doctor. So am I. Over the next few hours, the mood on Haven Station shifted from fear and chaos to relief and celebration. Families who had been separated during the emergency evacuation were reunited, tears of joy replacing the earlier tears of fear. The transport ships that had fled during the crisis returned safely and slowly. Life on the station began to return to some sense of normal. Elena walked through the station's main hall, watching her people celebrate, feeling a deep sense of gratitude and relief. It had been the most terrifying day of her life, but it had ended in a way she never could have imagined. She found Captain Vance standing near the observation window, looking out at his massive warship, still floating protectively near the station. Your crew, she said, walking up beside him. How many people are on a ship that size? Surprisingly few, Vance answered. Just under 200. The ship relies heavily on advanced automated systems. It doesn't need a massive crew to operate at full strength. Elena nodded, looking out at the dark, powerful shape of the ironclad Dawn. What happens now? Will you stay? Vance shook his head slightly. We can't stay long. Our mission requires us to remain hidden, ready to respond wherever we're needed next. But we'll stay long enough to make sure your station is stable, and to send word to Earth Command about what happened here. They'll likely send additional support now that they know this region isn't as safe as previously thought. And the aliens? Elena asked. Do you think they'll come back? Vance's expression turned thoughtful. It's possible. But after today, I doubt they'll underestimate human colonies again anytime soon. Word will spread, and that fear, that uncertainty about what humanity might still be hiding, could be enough to keep them away for a long time. Later that evening, as the station settled into a well-earned rest, Elena stood alone in her office looking out at the stars. The events of the day replayed in her mind. The fear, the desperation, the impossible hope that had arrived just in time. She thought about Captain Vance's words, about the secret fleet hidden across known space, about the sacrifices made decades ago to create ships powerful enough to protect humanity's future, even if most people would never know the truth. A knock came at her door, and Sam stepped inside looking exhausted but relieved. Ma'am, I just wanted to say, thank you for staying calm today. For giving us a chance, Elena smiled tiredly. We survived because we didn't give up hope, Sam. Even when everything seemed lost. Sam nodded, glancing out the window at the distant glowing shape of the ironclad Dawn. Do you think there are more surprises like this out there? More secrets Earth is keeping? Elena considered the question carefully before answering. I think humanity is full of surprises, Sam. We've survived so much, adapted so much, prepared for dangers we hoped we'd never face. Today reminded me that we're stronger and perhaps more prepared than we ever truly realized. The next morning, the ironclad Dawn prepared to depart. The entire station gathered near the docking bay to see Captain Vance and his crew off, offering their thanks and admiration for the incredible rescue. Elena shook Vance's hand firmly. Thank you, Captain. For everything. Just doing our job, Doctor, Vance replied with a small smile. Take care of your people. And if you ever need us again? He paused, glancing meaningfully toward the stars. We'll be watching. With that, Vance and his crew boarded their shuttle, returning to the massive warship waiting silently in the darkness beyond the station. Slowly, gracefully, the ironclad Dawn turned away from Haven Station, its engines glowing bright as it prepared to disappear once more into the vast unknown of space. Elena watched until the ship became nothing more than a distant light among the stars, eventually fading completely from view. As she turned to walk back into the station, she felt a strange mixture of emotions: gratitude for the incredible rescue, wonder at the secrets humanity still held, and a quiet, growing pride in knowing that somewhere out there, hidden in the darkness, humanity's guardians remained ready, patient and powerful, prepared to rise again whenever they were truly needed. Haven Station was safe. But the galaxy, Elena realized, would never quite look the same again. Word of what happened here would spread, carried by frightened alien survivors, whispered among different species across known space, and with that word would come a new, unspoken fear. Humanity was not as weak, as unprepared, or as vulnerable as many believed. Somewhere out in the endless dark, more ships like the ironclad Dawn waited silently, guardians of a secret only a few truly understood, ready to rise from the void once again, whenever the need arose. And for the first time in a long while, Elena Cross looked up at the stars not with fear, but with a quiet, steady sense of hope. 3 months passed since the battle at Haven Station. Life on the colony had slowly returned to normal. The mining tunnels were active again, families had settled back into their homes, and the fear that once filled every hallway had faded into something calmer. A quiet respect for how close they had come to losing everything. Elena Cross still thought about Captain Vance and the ironclad Dawn almost every day. Earth Command had sent a small support fleet after the incident, 3 modest patrol ships meant to watch over the region. It wasn't much, but it was more protection than Haven Station had ever had before. For a while, it felt like enough. Then, one ordinary morning, everything changed again. Sam burst into Elena's office without knocking, his face pale. "Ma'am, you need to see this. Long-range sensors just picked up something entering the system." Elena's stomach tightened. "Alien ships?" "Worse," Sam said. "It's them. Commander Threx's fleet markings match the ships in our database. But ma'am, there are more of them this time. A lot more." In the control room, the main screen showed a chilling sight. Where 15 ships had come the first time, now nearly 40 alien warships moved through the outer system in tight, disciplined formation. At the front of the fleet, a much larger command ship led the way, bigger and more heavily armed than anything they had seen before. "They came back," Marcus said quietly, staring at the screen. "And this time they brought an army." Elena felt the old fear rising in her chest, but this time it was mixed with something new. Anger. "Get me everything we have on that command ship, and send a distress call immediately, to Earth Command and to any Project Sentinel channel we might still have access to." Naomi looked up sharply. "Do we even have a way to contact them? Vance never gave us direct access." "He said they'd be watching," Elena replied, her jaw tight. "Let's hope that was true." Aboard the massive alien command ship, Commander Threx stood at the center of his bridge, his sensors calm and focused, nothing like the fear he had shown months earlier. He had spent 3 months preparing for this moment, studying every scrap of data his fleet had gathered on the mysterious human warship, gathering reinforcements from 3 allied battle groups, and building weapons specifically designed to counter unknown shield technology. "Commander," an officer said, "Haven Station has sent a distress signal. It appears they are calling for help." Threx's sensors flickered with something close to satisfaction. "Let them call. This time we are prepared. If that warship returns, we will be ready for it." He turned to his weapons officer. "Deploy the new shield disruptor arrays. If the human ship shows itself again, we will not make the same mistake twice." On Haven Station, the mood was tense but different from before. This time they were not completely alone. The 3 Earth patrol ships stationed nearby moved into defensive positions, though everyone knew they stood little chance against 40 alien warships. "Signal sent," Sam reported. "But ma'am, even if the ironclad Dawn responds, it took hours to arrive last time from wherever it was hiding. We don't know if we have that much time." Elena stared at the incoming fleet, her mind racing. "Then we prepare to hold as long as we can. Marcus, status on our defenses? Better than last time at least, Marcus answered. We've installed basic point defense weapons since the last attack, along with stronger shields. It's not much, but it's something. Elena nodded, though she knew it wouldn't be enough against a fleet this size. She thought of Vance's words, "We'll be watching." She could only hope that promise still held true. Hours passed. The alien fleet advanced steadily, its formation tightening as it approached firing range. Elena stood in the control room watching the distance close, her heart pounding with each passing minute. "They're entering weapons range," Sam reported, his voice tight. "Hold position," Elena ordered the patrol ships. "Do not engage unless fired upon." The alien fleet stopped just outside firing range, and once again, Threx's voice came through on an open channel, colder and more confident than before. "Human colony. Last time you were saved by luck and an old machine. This time we came prepared. Surrender now or we will not stop until this system is nothing but dust." Elena stepped forward, her voice steady despite her fear. "We are not surrendering, and I don't think you understand what you're truly facing." Threx's voice carried a dark, satisfied tone. "We understand perfectly. Deploy shield disruptors. Begin the attack." Just as the alien fleet's weapons began to charge, Sam's console suddenly lit up with a new signal. "Ma'am, long-range sensor contact approaching fast from deep space." It's the same energy signature as before." Elena's breath caught. "The ironclad Dawn?" "It's not alone this time," Sam said, disbelief clear in his voice. "I'm reading multiple large signatures. Ma'am, there are 3 ships incoming, all matching the same power profile." On the main screen, space shimmered once again as 3 massive warships emerged from hidden space, moving in perfect formation toward the alien fleet. At the lead was the ironclad Dawn, its blue lights glowing steadily, flanked by 2 other equally massive vessels that Haven Station had never seen before. Threx's confidence shattered instantly. "Impossible," he whispered, staring at the screen. "There were supposed to be only 1. Captain Vance's voice came through the station's comm system, calm and steady as always. "Haven Station, this is the ironclad Dawn. Sorry for the delay. We brought some friends this time." Elena felt tears of relief sting her eyes as she watched the 3 massive human warships move into position, their combined presence casting a long, powerful shadow over the alien fleet. "Captain Vance," she said, her voice full of gratitude. "I have never been happier to hear your voice.